I stepped on a stingray last week, and then unbelievable pain. Last week was spring break 2022, and I took my family down to San Diego, where we have a rental house and a small casita, a little house at the back of the property behind the main house. I've kept this little house vacant because I love to visit the sun and sand and waves in Southern California. San Diego is where I'm from. There's a beach in Oceanside right by the pier where I love to surf, and I've been there hundreds of times. But last week, I stepped on a stingray, and he got me. If you don't know, stingrays are a flat bottom feeding fish that hide very well on the sandy ocean bottom. But unlike beautiful manta rays or eagle rays or the benign rays in the Cayman Islands that tourists flock to see and feed, these little guys have a long barb filled with venom just a little ways up their tail, and in an instant they jab you and inflict hours of pain and possible infection. My foot is still a bit swollen more than a week later. The danger is always there, but thousands of people go swimming and surfing and wading every day, usually with no problem, until there's a problem. The pain is so intense. It feels like someone hits you in the foot with a spiked hammer and then just continues to grind it deeper into your foot, like for several hours straight. Putting your foot in hot water helps to reduce the pain, but it is intense. The worst of it was over by about 2 hours, but I still could not walk until about 5 hours later. Some people go to the hospital, but the large lifeguard stations at many popular beaches are well equipped with buckets and hot water and antibiotic ointment for the potential infection. There's really not much that a hospital can do over and above what the lifeguards can do. You just have to tough it out and get to the other side of the pain. Now, I love the beach and surfing, and somebody recently told me that the risk is actually higher in that spot near the pier because so many fishermen are on the pier and they throw their bait over the side, and the stingrays are bottom feeders and they look for food in the sand. By the end of spring break, well, I was feeling a little bit better and I was able to surf again. But I went way south in Oceanside near Carlsbad, where there is no pier or fishermen and assumably less stingrays. Now, I've surfed in places all over the world. I'm no pro, but I've spent time in the water in lots of different places, like Hawaii and Mexico, and certainly in California. I've been stung by jellyfish, like the Portuguese man-o' war on the windward side of Oahu. Those things are nasty. See these little guys right here? No fun, I promise you, no matter where you go. Here is an example of what the Portuguese man-o' will leave behind for their stings. All of these little stripes here, yeah, those are raised red welts, and that sting lasts for 45 minutes to an hour. You got a couple choices: vinegar or pee on it, and then just tough out the pain. Some people have a much worse allergic reaction, and it can even give you anaphylactic shock if you're susceptible to things like bee stings. Here is an example of a Vanna. These little sea urchins right here I have stepped on, and these little spiny guys right here send these needle-like projections into your foot, and oh man, they are painful as well. They break off, and it takes a lot to dig those things out. Hopefully with anesthetic. I've had that before a couple times too on Oahu. The Vanna, they're kind of cute and wispy little things to look at, and they hide in crevices in the rocks, and they really just want to be left alone. But a surfer or a snorkeler can easily step on them, and those needle sharp little spines break off in you. Now, this whole channel, it's not about dangers of the ocean. On here, we talk about retiring early and often. That's the name of my channel. But a part of that is anticipating potential, if unlikely, problems that may occur and can really ruin your day or your spring break or your finances and then trying to avoid those problems in the first place. But if you do get stung, you need to know what to do. Next slide. Now, there are many dangers out there, from market downturns or even pandemics, and then the government responses to the market downturns and the pandemics. You might experience a lawsuit that upends your business and your personal life. Supply chain disruptions or unexpected price hikes and inflation might be affecting your business or your family right now. For me, building materials and labor costs are 50 to 100% higher than just 2 years ago. For many people, rent and food and gas are 50 to 100% higher and a much bigger part of their budget than just 2 years ago. And many Americans are needing to turn to other sources of income, like credit cards, to deal with some of these higher prices. Credit cards are not really income, but people are going into debt to pay for some of these necessities. Now, in some areas of the world, people may not even have credit cards and they're just having to do without. Yikes. Now, there's some places in the world like China and Ukraine where people are experiencing war or further lockdowns from COVID-19. And it's a lot worse than just, a jellyfish sting or a stingray spine. Now, to avoid painful surprises in the ocean, we can wear protective booties or rash guards or wetsuits and choose to surf in less dangerous places. Yes, I'm learning. In the rest of life, there are things that you can do to avoid many bad surprises and also be better prepared when bad things do happen. I've been following the work of Dr. Chris Martenson for many years. Along with his co-author, Adam Taggart, he wrote a book called Prosper, which outlines 8 different ways that we can be better prepared and more resilient. You really must read his book. Again, it's Prosper. You can follow a lot of his work also on YouTube at Peak Prosperity or his website, peakprosperity.com. Truly great stuff. Now, I'm not going to outline his whole book for you, but the key is being prepared emotionally, physically, financially, and socially, and in other ways as well, to deal with the inevitable tough times that you may not see before you take your next step, because it's something hiding and lurking in the murky water that you just can't see right now. Now, I cannot give you advice, but I always try to give some helpful infotainment, maybe some helpful hints. Many experts I read and listen to are anticipating a significant economic downturn in the United States and many other countries in the world within the next year or two. So I'm trying to be prepared and make myself more resilient. You've heard me on other videos, probably, talking about buying a little extra of the things that you know you will need, starting with food and water. I also love real estate as a great hedge against inflation and economic shifts, securing your own housing first, and then maybe getting a steady stream of income from rental properties. That's a huge part of my family being more prepared. There are other great experts like Lynette Zhang and Peter Schiff, and they would recommend owning physical gold and silver. That could be a great idea if you've already got most of the basics covered. Chris Martenson, that I mentioned earlier and recommended, he also outlines emotional and physical and intellectual and social preparedness way better than I can explain it right here. Mark Moss, a well-known YouTuber, recently bought a ranch to help him be more prepared. Michael Saylor, yeah, you know him, the Bitcoin guy. He would definitely recommend Bitcoin, and there's some other great cryptocurrencies that also might be the right thing for you. I don't know. I recommend at least learning some new skills and strengthening all the relationships in your life. The most important thing is to make a plan and work on it a little bit every day so you can be prepared and not scared. I hope some of this has been helpful. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with anybody that you can think of that it might help. Please also check out my other videos on my list to find information on early retirement, retiring abroad, using real estate to become wealthy and resilient, and battling inflation and preparing for economic hardship. I hope to see you on the next video.